You are made of stardust, not as a metaphor, as a fact. Almost every atom in your body, the calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen you're breathing right now, was built somewhere out there long before the Earth existed. Tonight, let's trace those atoms all the way home. It starts 13.8 billion years ago with the Big Bang. In an instant, all of space, time, matter, and energy bursts into being unimaginably hot, unimaginably dense, and expanding in every direction at once. But the early universe was a simple place. As it cooled, it made only the two lightest elements, hydrogen and a little helium. That's it. No carbon, no oxygen, no iron. None of the ingredients for a planet or a person. The raw material of you simply did not exist yet. And yet, one piece of you is already here. Every hydrogen atom in your body, the H in every molecule of water you're made of, was forged in those first minutes. That hydrogen is 13.8 billion years old. You are carrying a piece of the Big Bang inside you. For the heavier elements, the universe needed a furnace. Gravity went to work, pulling those vast clouds of hydrogen together, denser and denser, hotter and hotter, until the first stars flickered to life. Deep in a star's core, hydrogen atoms are crushed together so violently that they fuse 4 hydrogen, becoming 1 helium, and releasing a flash of energy. That fusion is what makes a star shine. But it's also something more. A star is a factory, slowly forging new elements. When the hydrogen runs low, the star turns to its helium, fusing it into carbon, then carbon into oxygen, oxygen into neon, silicon, and on, heavier and heavier elements, layer upon layer, like the rings of an onion. But this can't go on forever. The building stops at iron. Iron is the most stable element there is, and fusing it together takes more energy than it gives back. When a massive star's core turns to iron, its furnace falls silent, and without that outward push of energy, gravity wins. In a fraction of a second, the iron core collapses, then rebounds in the most violent event in the cosmos, a supernova. For a few days, a single dying star can outshine an entire galaxy of 100 billion suns. And in that blast, 2 things happen. First, every element the star ever made is hurled out into space. And second, in the unimaginable heat and pressure, brand new elements are forged, the ones heavier than iron that stars could never build before. The gold in a ring, the silver in a coin. Much of it was born when 2 dead stars collapsed. Cores called neutron stars spiraled in and collided, scattering heavy elements across the galaxy. The most precious things on Earth came from the deaths of stars. So each dying star sows the space around it with the elements it created. Generation after generation, stars are born, forge their treasure, and die, and every cycle leaves the galaxy a little richer, a little more ready to build something new. Then, about 4.6 billion years ago, in one quiet corner of our galaxy, a cloud of this enriched dust and gas began to collapse. Most of it became our Sunday. And the leftovers, the scraps that didn't fall in, flattened into a spinning disk and clumped together into worlds. One of those worlds was Earth, built from the ground up, out of the ashes of stars that died before our sun was born. The iron in Earth's core, the oxygen in its oceans, the carbon that life would one day be written in, every bit of it is recycled stardust atoms, that once burned inside other suns. And then, on this small planet of stellar ash, something remarkable happened. Those atoms began to arrange themselves into chemistry, into cells, into life. Carbon became the scaffolding. Oxygen and hydrogen and nitrogen filled it in. The dust of dead stars learned to breathe. Look at what you're made of. By mass, you are about 65% oxygen, 18% carbon, 10% hydrogen, 3% nitrogen, with calcium, phosphorus, and a trace of iron. Your hydrogen came from the Big Bang. Almost everything else was assembled inside a star. Take the calcium that stiffens your bones and lets you stand upright. It was cooked in the heart of a star and flung out when that star exploded, drifting for billions of years before it ever became part of you. And the iron in your blood, threaded through the hemoglobin that is carrying oxygen to every cell in your body right now as you watch this. That iron was forged in a dying star. You have supernovae running through your veins. Here's what gets me. Most of the atoms in your body are older than the sunday. They've existed for billions of years, drifting through space, locked in rock, dissolved in oceans, borrowed, broken apart, and rebuilt over and over. You don't own them. You're just their latest arrangement. Which means you are not a visitor here. You are not something separate, dropped into the universe from outside. You are the universe, a small piece of it that gathered itself together, stood up, and started to wonder where it came from. So feel your pulse for a moment. That stellar iron, moving the breath of ancient stars through a body assembled from cosmic ash, kept alive by hydrogen as old as time itself. A heartbeat is the universe quietly keeping itself going. Carl Sagan said it best. We are a way for the cosmos to know itself. You are stardust gathered, briefly, into something that can look up at the night sky and recognize its own reflection. So, look up. You're looking at family,